Good evening, friends. Welcome to the today's session of Chart Speak for market and sectoral updates. I'm Milind Upasni, welcoming you to the program. So today I'll be conducting this in English because of the multiple requests that I get in between that, just doing it in Hindi is not helping them. काफी लोगों से मुझे ये रिक्वेस्ट आई थी कि आप सिर्फ हिंदी में कर रहे हैं, हमें इंग्लिश में चाहिए। तो इसीलिए आज का सेशन मैं इंग्लिश में कर रहा हूँ और इसी तरीके से दोनों लैंग्वेजेस में ये दोनों भाषाओं में ये सेशंस करते रहूंगा। तो कृपया करके साथ बने रहिए और अगर फिर भी सवाल हो तो वीडियो के कमेंट सेक्शन में आप हमेशा मेरे साथ पूछ सकते हैं। So let's look at today's chart. So it was quite a frustrating day. I would say quite a tough day to go through because of the big push that came in from the global markets. The Indian markets went down strongly. Biggest loser today was IT. I believe the pressure is coming from the recession in the developed economies, which will hurt the IT businesses. And another part is that they had run up a lot. So easy money is there on the table. So people are getting out with that. Same is the story with Nifty Metal. I think it is again the big rallies that have happened. People are quite happy with the money they have made. And the overall disruption is still kind of erratically going around. So you cannot predict much. So that's where these two are the biggest falls that we saw today. While on the positive side, the sector which showed strength today was Nifty FMCG. Without any surprise, the big reason was the great result by ITC, and then how the ITC stock ended up positive on this stressful day also. So that was on the, as far as individual sectors moves goes. Nifty itself fell down by minus to 6.65 percentages. As far as levels go in Nifty, we cracked below the earlier discussed level of 16K. So this is something that I will bring up to you a bit later, but let's look on to the daily chart. So we have been discussing around the moves that are happening in Nifty versus the charts historically where they should get a support. So the wartime bottom is still secure. That February bottom when the Russia attacked Ukraine, that is still in place, untouched, and we have been able to stay above 15,750. So 15,750 is still below there and continues to be a weak support, I would say, because now we are going to touch it. Maybe this will be the third time. So 15,750 is still secured. For an uptrend to get confirmed, Nifty will have to cross and close above 16,400, which it touched yesterday but failed to recover. And then finally, there's today's big wild drop that has happened. As we move on to the weekly chart to get a better idea about next levels of support, which would be a bit of repetition, but still for the new folks, I would do it. This is the zone that is actually going to help us stand the pressure over here. If it does so, and this zone is lying between 15,800 till 15,500. So 15,500 to 15,800 is the zone where I can see that Nifty can spend good amount of time. Again, this is what the chart is saying. The next level of support that it can garner will be 1500, 15,000 in itself. So 15,800 to 15,500 is a zone where we can get good amount of support. A slippage from there would get us some support at 15,000, and below that 14,100 is the next support. And then let's not imagine what can happen. It will be a free fall. But to give you another hope, I just fortunately opened this chart on the monthly angle on all databases. So when I put it on the monthly slot and mark it up to the moving average 20, you will see the magic over here. So finally, we are by moving average wise also at a support level in Nifty. So you can observe over here, Nifty used to get support at 20 MA throughout the journey in from 2016 to 2017-18 big rally, and then the COVID crash. And if you observe, again it faced a resistance at 20 monthly moving average. So this is a line which is adding another angle to this story that now we are going to touch it. So maybe this moving average story can also add its strength into the up move. So this is something that I am giving you another interesting perspective. The chart is all data monthly, so you guys can study it on the moving average line of 20. This is for additional input. This is where looking at the same thing from different angles does help us, right? So this is where the Nifty's supports and resistances is 16,400 for sure. Now coming on to the sectoral advances, as I told you, the sectors which really played out well are looking positive is trend wise. Nifty Auto, trend wise, if you observe, Nifty Auto is running good. Nifty FMCG is running positive. Okay, both of them are running positive, but I am going to give preference to Nifty FMCG. Why? Because momentum wise, also Nifty FMCG has become positive. Okay, now you guys will ask me, the market has crashed so badly and this person is still talking about a recovery. Then believe me, whenever the market recovers, the Nifty is not going to recover first. It is one or the other sector which is going to recover first. So the green shoots will be seen at the sector level. So that's why every time when we connect, though it is repetitive, I still go through these charts, and this is where Nifty FMCG is now telling me that something good can happen over here. Now, to get a better idea of that, I went to the chart of Nifty FMCG, and there you can see this is actually, I'll put it for the 3 years weekly chart. This one is, so 3 years weekly. You can observe there is one particular pattern this chart is making. So the guys who are familiar with chart pattern, please respond below this particular video with what is the chart pattern which is happening over here in this zone. Which chart pattern is happening over here? So respond back onto the comment section of this video that which is the chart pattern which is setting up over here. And why I'm doing this is that I want to make it more interactive with you guys, so that you are just not watching my videos for tips, but you are really watching it for the studies. And going by that approach, if I see this to this is 3900 to, sorry, 39,000 to around 34,000. So this is a 5K move. So if you replicate it upwards, this points to a move up to 4,000, 44,000, right? So we can see there is a chance of around 12 to 15% up move after this level in FMCG. Maybe from today's level, if we see 20% up move, that can happen if this level is crossed by FMCG. But overall, why FMCG is good? Because while the markets have been falling, FMCG is not falling that much. So the fall that we saw in the war duration in Nifty, we are just matching it over there. But if you observe in FMCG, it is not going that deep. In fact, it is recovering much sooner. Can you see this difference? Now, this is what is called as the volatility squeeze or volatility contraction. The earlier fall came in so deep, next fall is just getting stalled with at a very smaller level. So this tells us that good up move can come in the FMCG. So I will review with you the Nifty auto chart in the benefit of time. I'll just hold off over here. Now, as far as what happens with the news side, on the news side, what we observe, the major news, what I am seeing over here is that finally the economists globally are coming to the idea that the Russia's invasion of Ukraine and Chinese COVID zero lockdowns are disrupting supply chains and hammering growth, pushing inflation to 40-year highs. Now, this is something which I have been sharing on my Twitter handle, that it is not the liquidity which is the major cause. The major cause is this supply chain disruption due to the war and China's COVID zero policy. So on one front, China's COVID zero front, we observe that from 1st of June, they are going to open up. Now, this is a positive that is looking over here. And then on my Twitter handle, I have posted one post today that the UN secretary is trying to get the sanctions resolved to at least benefit the transactions of food grains from Ukraine and Russia. Now, that is something which I was waiting for, because if that thing happens, it really removes the big bottleneck which is causing the inflation. So I really observe that if these two things are cracked, more than the bad news coming from the central banks, this thing can override those rate increases, and the actually the positivity in the market can return in a big way. That will be a big solid base that can happen. On the Indian market side, company wise updates, Maruti Suzuki has said that they are going to shore up their production in Haryana, which is located in the Sonipat district, with the investment of 11,000 crore rupees, which can really produce 2.5 lakh units per annum. That's quite massive, and the first car is going to roll out from 2025. Keep a watch, guys, because next sector coming up is Nifty Auto. Maybe in my next session, I'll cover on the stock updates, the Nifty Auto sector, what is looking good over there, what we can really think about. On the other hand, the bad news coming in the gaming industry is the GST can be raised to 28%, and that is where they are making representation. The Indian gaming industry is making representation with government to keep it at 18% only. So this is something where I think the Indian Dishapura was busy today. Another thing that I would like to bring up to is that bad news is coming from the diamond industry. Because of the sanctions on Russia, the diamond industry is actually going to lay off in India. So really, guys, this recession thing is jumping a lot from the sanctions, and I really don't think it as rising more from the on the rate hikes. So keep a watch on either the two things: the bottleneck on supply chain getting resolved with China, and the sanctions. If somewhere they open up, things start moving, we can see good positivity return in the market. As far as the data for today goes for FII, DII, it just got updated on the NSE website. Let's look at it. So big sell-off coming from FIIs around 5K, while the DIIs were not able to match it. They are at 3225. So big gap today. The selling from FII could not get compensated by DII, and that is where the big crash that we have seen today. And what is the news coming from Dow Jones futures? So if you observe that, Dow Jones future is still showing negativity. So we can expect again the US markets to stay negative today. In fact, 1% further down. So this is quite a lot of pressure. So again, the negativity can pass on to the tomorrow's day. And in all this, changes that are happening, what is our stand? So for me, the one big stand was that we did not took any action today. In fact, we entered ITC 2-3 days ago. So this was shared in my personal channel for daily updates. You can find its link in the video description. You can subscribe it on trial basis for a month or a quarter or a half yearly. And if you really start trusting, go for a year. So all in all, it is left up to you guys. Feel comfortable, because what I've observed is that everybody's risk appetite is different. My thought process is different. Yours is different. So if it gels up well, you can think about it. But I am a guy strictly who goes by stop losses. So if you work with me, you'll have to go through those painful moment of exiting stocks very soon, rather than holding it to the recovery and all that, because that's what my thought process is. Because most of the people that I work with are retailers, so I know that they really cannot hold it for that long. So that is what is that happening on that channel. I also shared 16 stocks which the long-term investors can nibble through this fall. So these are 16 stocks mainly coming from the FMCG sector, and one surprise that is coming from a sector I'll not talk about. Then sectors coming from the thematic themes. One is going around thematic theme, one is going around the chemical sector. So that is how the 16 stocks that are there that I've shared on this Cosmo feed. You can go ahead and do go through the disclaimer that I've put over here. If you are comfortable, then only jump on to these recommendations or these thought process. So whatever I've discussed today, guys, overall it is all take it as a study, take it as a clue, take it as an input. Do not take it as a specific advisory, because I am not at all SEBI registered, to be very clear. So for me, the target still remains Nifty crossing 16,400 on the upside, and on the downside I can see a good support happening between 15,500 to 15,800. 15,750 was still secure today, so that gives me, okay, at least we did not go very bad. And as I showed you on the monthly chart, you can observe 20 MA line is coming at 15,809. So another reason to tell me that we can get some good line of defense around the same region. Looking at the Dow Jones, it looks scary today, and tomorrow is a weekly close, so there's a lot that we'll have to watch up to. Anyway, being the bull side players, we have to stay hopeful and keep on looking for opportunity. That is where I've discussed one particular sector and certain stocks from that sector in today's stock update. Go ahead and have a look at it. And for any questions you have, any ideas, any thoughts you have, you want to catch up with me on the training programs and any ways that I can contribute with you, keep on pinging me below these channels, below these videos, or on the Telegram. I'm always there and always grateful for your support. Thank you very much. Have a great evening. And tomorrow I may not publish anything. I may publish it during the weekend. So looking forward to stay in touch and partnering for more success and prosperity. That's it today. Have a great evening. Bye bye.